It's a Saturday, and it's another episode of the Steady Abroad podcast. Every Saturday, we come your way, and this Saturday, which happens to be the last Saturday of the month, March, we will be responding to your questions. So you have an opportunity to join us in the studio if you have any questions about your admission, scholarship, visa processes. We'll be happy to respond to them. I have my co-host here, Nes Kelly. Kindly introduce yourself, Kelly.
Hi, everybody. My name is Helen Kekeli, and that's where the name Neskeli is from. I'm an international student. I do admissions and recruitment, so I'm happy to answer any questions that you have about the admissions process. And I hope we have a good time today.
Great. So there are two ways to get in touch. You can type your questions in the comment section, and then you can also request and join us live in the studio so that we can be responding to your questions as well. If you want to study in the UK, Ben is here to respond to your questions. If you want to study in the US, Neska Kelly is here to respond to your questions as well. And then later on, our brother Delali will be joining us from Canada and then also be responding to your questions when it comes to your Canadian application process. So we have a whole team here, and then we have a couple of hours to spend with you. So relax, and then let's hear from you. Let us know in the comment section where you're watching us from. What is the time at your end? Delali, what's the time in Canada at the moment?
It's 12:38 p.m. in Winnipeg, Manitoba.
Awesome. If you could push up a little bit so that you take up the entire screen, that would be
Okay.
great.
Okay.
Kelly,
Okay.
what's the time in your state in the US?
It's 1:39 right now.
Okay, awesome. And Ben, what's the time at your end?
Yeah, 5:39 p.m.
Okay, almost the same time as Ghana. All right, so Ben is in the UK, Delali is in Canada, Neska Kelly is in the US. We are here to respond to all your study abroad questions. Drop them in the comment section. Is it about admission? Is it about scholarship? Is it about visa? We'll be happy to respond to them. Also, you can follow the link I'll be sharing on the various social media platforms, and you can join us live. We are streaming live on YouTube as the Fred Effect. We are streaming live on Facebook, the Fred Effect. On TikTok is the Fred Effect, and on Instagram, the same name. So wherever you are comfortable watching us, remember you can tune in there. We are also on X or Twitter, the Fred Effect as well. So we will start to read your questions in the comment section, and also if you have an opportunity to request and join us, we'll be happy to respond to your questions. A bit of the introduction from Ben, and then Delali, then we can get going. Ben, kindly introduce yourself for people seeing you for the first time on the podcast.
Oh, okay. My name is Ben, and at the moment I'm in the UK. I just completed my master's in public policy not long ago. We see that UK is still a place that a lot of international students are not aware of some of the existing policies and existing scholarships and the way to study. So we are here to help people navigate through the UK system as well.
Awesome. Delali, please go on.
Hi, Fred. Thank you for the opportunity. My name is Sylvester Delali, currently a graduate student in Canada, specifically at the University of Manitoba, and I am taking a master's in disability studies with expected completion by the end of this year. Even though there have been a lot of changes or turmoil in the immigration pathways for Canada, Canada is still approving visas for people, even though the denial rates are high. So if you're interested in studying in Canada, then just stay with us right from the beginning of this podcast to the end, so that whatever questions or concerns you have, you bring it up and the team will help you respond to them. Thank you very much.
This is how the program is going to go. Every week we come your way with the University of the Week. With the University of the Week, we talk about a specific university in, for example, Canada that you can target or apply to. We also go for the University of the Week in the UK and the University of the Week in the US. Now, this is to show you some of the universities that your Google search will not even be able to provide, because we have insider insight. We provide this information so that it makes it easier if you are searching for these universities to be able to find them and apply for them as well. All right, so Delali, if you're ready, let's start with the University of the Week in Canada.
Okay, so Fred, for today's University of the Week, we are looking at Memorial University, which is located in St. John's, that is the city, and the province is Newfoundland and Labrador. Newfoundland and Labrador, Memorial University, located in the city of St. John's. So Memorial University ranks 7th in the comprehensive category of Maclean's 2025 university rankings. And the good news is that they have diverse list of programs of over 185 graduate programs. Over 185 graduate programs. We have course-based programs. We have research-based programs. One good thing too is that you don't need a transcript evaluation. You can actually apply for admission with your unofficial transcript or official transcript from your university locally or back home in wherever you're watching us from. Now, one interesting thing about this particular university is when you look at their tuition fee, when we are looking at top 2 or top 3 universities in Canada that have lowest tuition fee for graduate students, we will go for Memorial University, because for a whole academic year, your fees can be around a little bit above 4,000 Canadian dollars for the whole, not a term, for the whole academic year. Your graduate fees can be above a little bit of 4,000 Canadian dollars. Also, they have funding opportunities for various programs. I have a couple of friends who are taking Masters of History, and they are fully funded. But then, before you get into that program, you need to secure the acceptance of a supervisor. Then they also have education programs, which they have funding for, but not full funding, engineering programs, ocean technology programs, health programs. So if anyone is interested in applying to this university, that's Memorial University, you can check them out. And actually, the province is an immigration-friendly province. It's a province that has good provincial nomination programs. And when you're done with school, or whilst you're in school, if you are there with your partner, let's say your husband or your wife, even before you're done with school, you can get invited for the provincial nomination program and apply for your permanent residency, and even get your permanent residency before you graduate from school. So if anyone is interested in a university in Canada, I'll strongly recommend Memorial University. Fred, over to you.
All right. So the University of the Week for Canada edition, we looked at Memorial University, which is located in Canada. So if you are planning on studying in Canada, this is one of the universities that should be part of your list, and then you can research more on that. All right. So if you're working on your application process to study in the US, initially, there were no available visa interview appointment date, and this was causing a lot of problems. But recently, the embassy has been releasing a lot of dates on the calendar. So do not panic if you are yet to get your I-20 or you're still working on your process. There are a lot of dates available. The most important thing is to prepare, and this has been the case for a lot of time. But now, people are able to select interview dates and go for the interview. Now, you can pay your visa application fee either via a MasterCard or Visa card, or you have to go to GT Bank. I'm talking about people who are currently applying from Ghana. So if you, when I was in Bole Bamboy, there was no GT Bank closer to Bole Bamboy. So I needed to come all the way to Techiman to pay for just visa application fee. Now, the Fred Effect team can support you if you are in such a situation where you don't have a closer branch of GT Bank to pay your visa application fee. Send us a DM or a message via Instagram. The team will be happy to assist you. Once you pay your visa application fee as somebody who wants to come and study in the US, the next fee to pay is the service fee. When you generate the service coupon, unfortunately, if you're Ghanaian, you cannot pay in Ghana. So you need somebody in the US to pay for you. The Fred Effect team is a trusted brand that has been paying for people for close to 10 years now. And so we can assist you smoothly make that payment with no hassle. Send us a DM on Instagram as well. The name is the Fred Effect. We have over 30,000 family members on Instagram. Our account is verified, and then we can support you to make this payment. All right, we are moving on with the questions you have for us. So we are starting with Neska Kelly. This question is directly from the US. Let's take this one. This individual is saying that, please, I have gained admission at the University of Cincinnati. Cincinnati in Ohio is very close to Kentucky because I schooled in Kentucky. I've been to this university a couple of times. MSIT, that means Master of Science in Information Technology. But it came with no funding, and I have been emailing my coordinator for months, now, but they keep telling me there is no funding. Neskekeli, any solution for our brother?
It's rather unfortunate that the political climate and everything, so a lot of schools do not have funding for most of the programs, and these things happen. So honestly, there are different options that you could use. You could use loans, but even though that's not something I will do personally, because it's, I mean, it's loans, right? But sometimes people come with loans for the first year, and then by the second year they get funding and they're able to manage it like that. Personally, I would not go to grad school in another country with loans. That's what I want to put out there. But that's an option for you to look at. We have Empower and all those other different loans that you could look at. But if your parents are rich too, I mean, so if you have a family member who is willing to like sponsor you, you could get their bank statements and use that to get your I-20 to go through the visa application process. Now that's another thing, because once you don't have funding, you have to go the extra mile to explain to the visa officer why you think that you want to spend that amount of money on grad school and how that will benefit you in the future. So there are a lot of moving parts to this, but if the school keeps saying they don't have funding, then the options to look at is loans, or I don't know about like scholarships, if the school has any scholarships that are not like full funding, but scholarships that you can use to supplement, or you get a bank statement and use that to get your I-20. Awesome. But if worse comes to worse, deferring is not a bad idea. You can defer and then come back later when there's funding. So just make sure that you keep reminding them that you are available, you've deferred, but you're still interested. And once there's funding, they can contact you.
Awesome. So the good thing is that the Fred Effect platform is a visionary one. We know people have challenges with this when it comes to that. And because I've been to about 5 universities, and my first university, it came automatically with a scholarship. The second one, I needed to get admission, and later on the scholarship came. So you're not alone. So the first thing is that we already have a video that we are explaining step-by-step approach when you have admission with no scholarship or partial scholarship. This video has over 100,000 views. We did it like 3 years ago. Like I said, it's a visionary platform. So in this video, I explained about 10 different avenues you can explore, including the the loan option that my sister Kekeli is talking about. But there are a lot of other medium or ways you can get funding once you hold admission to the university. So congrats, my brother. There's always hope at the end of the tunnel. So don't give up. Check out this video, explore the opportunities and explanations I give in this video, and it's going to help you out as well. All right. So we move on. Thank you for your question. Rima Joy just tuning. Rima, let us know where you're watching us from. Then Opoku Gifty is also watching us on YouTube as well. And then Ata Osei Godfred is also watching us on Facebook. Let us know where you're watching us from. What is the time at your end? If you have your questions, type them in the comment section. You can also request directly and join us. We are speaking with Abdul Rashid at the moment. Abdul Rashid. Abdul is chilling somewhere. Abdul, can you hear us? Abdul did not even know he's joining. Abdul, salam alaikum. Okay, your microphone is muted, Abdul. You have to. Can anybody hear Abdul? Okay, Abdul, we cannot hear you. Are you in Bolivar, boy? Or where are you? No, I can't hear you. We can't hear you, Abdul. That's quite unfortunate. We can't hear Abdul. We can't hear Abdul. Abdul, check out your audio so we know if we can get you on. But if you want to also join us, remember you can join us live in the studio by requesting. I'm sharing the link on the various social media platforms. So you can click on that, join us just like Abdul did. We'll be happy to respond to your questions. Be sure to put your video on if you are joining us live. Hi, Linda. How are you doing? Hi, Linda. Can you please hear me? Or mute your microphone. Go ahead, Linda. Hi, Linda. Can you hear us? Okay. Hi, Linda.
Hi.
Yes.
Good evening.
Who do you want to speak to? Which country are you looking at?
I'm looking at the US.
Okay, so go ahead. Mr. Kelly is here.
Um, I actually sent you a message on Instagram, and I'm kind of having difficult to get recommended for the process. What can I do?
All right. Ms. Kelly, please go on.
Okay. So the recommendations that you use depends on the school's requirements, and so I don't know what school you're applying to and what requirements they have. Some schools will say they want recommenders from your former professors, like people who have worked with you before, like your boss from your former job, or like your boss with your current job, or if you volunteered in the community before. Anybody you volunteered with before can write your recommendation. So, depending on the requirements of the school, you get those kind of recommendations. Now, you're saying that you're struggling to get it. Is it because you're no longer in touch with your professors? Can your boss, your current boss, write you a recommendation? Have you ever volunteered in the past with anybody you still are in contact with? Or do you even have a mentor that you look up to, whose contact details you have, who can write your recommendations? So explore all those options and see if you get people in those regards to help you with recommendation.
Delali, do you want to add up? So normally it's people think that it's only professors or lecturers that taught them that could recommend them, especially if you graduated like a couple of years ago. Pastors, anybody who essentially has an institutional or professional email. It could be your boss at work, anybody like that could recommend you. Thank you for joining, Linda. Let's talk to Nuruddin. Nuruddin, salam alaikum. Hi, Nuruddin, salam alaikum. Nuruddin. Okay. Nuruddin, salam alaikum. Hi, Nuruddin. Nuruddin do not know whether he's on or not. Okay. Let's see if we can bring Abdul back. Abdul, salam alaikum. Hi, Abdul, salam alaikum. Okay. Let's see. Hi, Abdul, salam alaikum. Hello, Abdul. Abdul, salam alaikum. Hello, Abdul, salam alaikum. Okay, Abdul is also having a challenge. Okay, let's see. Hi, Raymond, how are you doing, sir?
Hello, sir. Fred. I'm doing good.
There are people selling plastic there at the background. I think you need to get a quiet place. You can hear us, but the noise at the background is too much. Let's see. Raymond, can you hear me?
Hello, sir. Fred. I can hear you. Please, can you hear me?
We can hear you very well. The unfortunate thing is that because it's social media, the noise at the background is too much. Unfortunately, that wouldn't work for us. Some people are listening to us with a headset, and that'll be challenging. So let's see if you can get a quiet location. All right. Okay. My brother is finding it difficult to hear us. Let's see. Kwame Safo. Hi, Safo. Hello, Safo. Can you hear us? Okay. People are having challenges with the internet connection. But if you can also type your questions in the comment section, we'll be reading them and responding to them as well. All right. Let's see. So Ata Osei Goffred is watching us from Kote near K University. Thank you for tuning in on Facebook. Watching from Ghana, Nungwa, Victoria Boni. Hopefully I got the name right. And then Dominic also is tuning in on YouTube. John T. Acid hearing from New Ningo. New Ningo is closer to Pram Pram. Yeah. I've gained admission to University of New Haven to pursue industrial organizational psychology. Only 20% funding is there. Is there anything you can do to help me secure so I can successfully? Okay, so you have admission to University of New Mexico. I think you follow the same suggestion we gave to our earlier brother. All right. Okay. Unfortunately, Gilbert, we don't answer that here, so we will not be able to respond to that question. Kawi is also joining us from Boko. If you are on TikTok, let us hear if you have questions for us, and then we can answer that. Anyway, Delali, somebody is asking on TikTok. Vero is asking on TikTok. How do you help with somebody who wants to study in Canada? Do you have any avenues for that?
Yeah, the person can just send me a direct message on TikTok. The Delali Network, just search for it on TikTok, send me a direct message. Whatever your inquiries are, just leave them in my inbox. Anytime I read it, I'll respond. Also, I have a couple of videos on my YouTube channel, the Delali Network, which she can look at to help her with her visa application and school application. But I'm still ready to assist personally, so she can just send a DM.
All right, quick, please unmute your microphone and go ahead.
Hello, greetings to everyone here.
Yes, sir.
So my question is, I just got admission to Southern Illinois University, Edwardsville, and then to pursue a master's in environmental sciences. So there's a deficit of $26,000, and then I have a scholarship of $8,000. So my question is, recently, I'm a very positive person, but recently I've gotten discouraged by a lot of people not to continue to go to the interview because the deficit is too much, and then so the point is I really feel discouraged. So I don't know, do you still think I should go forward? Because it's an investment, paying the service fee and then visa application fee and all those things. So I just want an honest opinion from you guys or the pundits whether or not I should proceed. But the point is I really wanted to, so I don't know what to do.
Okay, so go over the admission, the scholarship you have, and whether it's a master's or bachelor's, and then you mentioned the school as well.
I hardly hear you. Come again, please.
Okay, can you go over the university, the scholarship you have, and the program you're going to study?
Okay, so it's a master's program in environmental sciences, and the school is Southern Illinois, Edwardsville. Yeah.
All right. Kelly, you want to come in? Then Delali will come in as well.
Hey, it's honestly, if you want an honest response from me, one of the things I tell people is that you don't want to put yourself in a position where if your visa is not because the more your visa is not approved, the lesser your chances of ever getting in the future. Mm-hmm. So I will always tell people to put their best foot forward. Now, you have a scholarship of $8,000 and you said your deficit is around $26,000. Do you have the bank statement to prove that you are able to afford that amount of money? That's one of the questions to ask, is that you have the bank statement to prove. But also, is there any way you can reach back to the school and say, hey, that amount is not enough? Because sometimes I've seen people ask for more and they get it. So can you just reach out back to the school and say, hey, that amount is, the deficit is still a lot. And I wish you let me know if you have other funding options that I could explore, or GA positions, things like that. Because I want you to put your best foot forward. I don't want you to start the process, and as you said, it's an investment, and I don't want you to invest $350 and another $180 and not knowing the outcome because your funding is not strong enough. So if you ask me and you want a very honest review, I would say that look for more funding first. And the Fred Effect has a video, and he spoke about other options that you could explore to assist you with that as well. So you should look at that video, but look for more funding first and see how that goes. Don't apply for the visa with the I-20 with that $26,000 deficit. That's my honest opinion.
Delali, you want to come in?
Okay.
Delali,
Okay, so aside what Neskeli said, my advice will also be that if you try to push for more funding or assistantship opportunities and none is available, don't just throw the admission away. you can defer to the next available entry by letting your program coordinator know. And sometimes it works for people. In the next available entry, there might be assistantship opportunities for you to apply and you'll get it. Another thing you can also do is that whilst you defer, you should also look at other potential institutions that have assistantship opportunities so that you put in new applications as well. Then you can have options to choose from when the new academic session is getting near.
Where are you in the process? Like, do you have an I-20? Where have you in the process?
Okay, so I have an I-20. So I was trying to fill the DS-160 online, but then I just paused because I've gotten admissions from other schools also, and then so I just paused, and then yeah, so that is where I am at the moment with the process.
Which other university have you gotten into?
Eastern Illinois University. So with that one, I had the opportunity to apply for like 50. So, during the process, like during the application process, there is a graduate assistantship portal where you can apply to like 50. It was close to 50 other departments. So I've gotten the admission, but then I haven't gotten any response from those departments concerning the GA. So I'm also currently.
Is that the only two universities that you've gotten into? Which other university did you apply to?
So I applied to New Haven University, so got the admission from there also. And then I think the last one, I forgot it.
Okay, but are you waiting on any other applications? Like, are you waiting on any other admissions?
No. I think I've gotten all the admissions. So the other ones, it came with, and then the next school was Texas something at Arlington, University of Texas at Arlington, I think. Yes.
There's a pre-application permit.
Yeah. So that is the address street. And then one thing too is I reached out to the professors.
Have you heard
from that again?
Have you heard from Arlington as well?
Yes. So I've been admitted with no scholarship. So one thing about the Southern Illinois is when I've reached out to like 5 professors. What they tell me is there are a lot of opportunities on campus. So once I get to campus, I can explore.
So here's the thing. There are a lot of other Ghanaians friends. So I have a whole WhatsApp group for people that have had opportunity to assist to the same university. The scholarship you got is one of the automatic scholarships that they give to everyone when you get admission. The question is, are there people who were able to get a visa approved with the same offer, the same scholarship you have? Yes. And what the good thing I know about that school is that, when you get there, there is an opportunity for you to get the assistantship. Sometimes the professors are not just sure that, as an international student, you'll be able to get a visa and then get in there. So here's the thing. You have the I-20. Now, everybody who has an I-20 has an equal chance of getting the visa approved. You see, the whole thing is a step-by-step approach. So the first one you've done is to be able to get your I-20. When you're emailing professors, don't be asking about funding. Tell them your ability to be able to go through the process and get here. Now, the funding will come later on. So there are people who had the same funding as you had, the same school, the same program, and they are here. So if you had other options which are better, go in for that. But for you to get to this stage where you have an I-20, now listen, everybody who has an I-20 has a full funding. Your funding could come from a loan, it could come from a bank statement, it could come from the school. The fact that the school is not paying everything does not mean that you don't have funding. You have to change your mentality about applying for the visa in the first place. So you having an I-20 means that you were able to show sufficient funds to the school plus the scholarship you had that you'll be able to support your education. And that is the same explanation you are going to the embassy with. Nobody goes to the embassy without a full funding. It's either the full funding is from a loan, it's from a bank statement, or it's from the university. The fact that people think that if you have the funding from the university, that is what is giving you the visa is not true. Now, earlier we thought that people who are from rich families are the people who get a visa approved, meaning that these rich family people are able to produce a bank statement, not a scholarship from the school, to be able to get a visa approved. Why do you have a bank statement and think that you not get a visa? So it's a whole mentality thing. Now, who would be able to, who, if the scholarship becomes available, who are they going to give it to? Somebody who is working to come, or somebody who is sitting down waiting for the scholarship to come? Now you can sit there and wait for the scholarship. You get a scholarship. Now getting an interview appointment also becomes a challenge. And then at the end of the day, you'll not be able to show up. Work with what you have, bro. You get to join interview platforms. If you get a better offer, like my sister Kelly is suggesting, pushing the coordinator of the program. Don't go to the coordinator only asking for scholarship. Talk to them about something else you're doing. For example, I've been able to secure my I-20. This is my visa interview date. Can you suggest some of the ways I could go about getting my visa approved? Then you end up talking about if there is any funding that becomes available later. Now you've told them what you're working on. You've told them that you're coming. So when there's funding available, who would they call? They will call you because they know you're coming. But if you are sitting there waiting, nobody will mind you. So believe in yourself. You've come this far. Only God knows what you've been through to apply to this school. Getting a recommendation is not even easy. Only God knows how you got the bank statement. Only God knows how you got the 8,000 scholarship. So do you have 8,000 in your pocket right now? You don't. Now the school be 8,000. I'll say, sir. School no one jashing how they apply. Anyway, let's move on. So we've given you a lot of ideas. Write them down and then decide what you want to go with. Anyway, so we're moving on. Let's see if we can pick more questions from the comment section, and then we can also allow people to come in. Hi, Rosemond, dear boy. Hi, Rosemond. You have to unmute your microphone to talk to us, Rosemond. Hi, Rosemond. Okay, Rosemond is not able to connect. So let's leave. Hi, Rosemond. Can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
Go ahead. Go ahead with your question.
I have a question. Yeah, hello.
Go ahead with your question, Rosemond. Rosemond, any baby I joining there?
Yes, I know.
Go ahead. We can hear you. Okay, looks like Rosemond have issues over there. Rosemond, can you hear us? Please go ahead with your question. Okay, Rosemond have issues. Let's see. Hi, Ben, can you hear us? Okay, we're having challenges. Hi, William. Your microphone is muted. If you could unmute it, then you can go ahead with your question. Hi, William. Hello, William. Okay. I don't know what is happening, but let's pick questions from the comment section and we can be responding to them. Okay, so Kekeli, Kwashi is asking that he received his I-20 using Empower loan, Empower letter, and then now he has received a bank statement which is above 1 year of the tuition. Is it possible to ask the school to change it for him, and would it affect him during the visa interview?
So I'm assuming you've already applied for the visa. Is that what has happened with the Empower I-20? Is that what has happened? If you've already applied for the visa, Fred, I don't really know how that process works. Once you get the I-20 with a particular bank statement or letter, I think you could still go ahead with the Empower I-20 to do your interview if you've already applied with that I-20.
Yeah, so he can use that, or if he's not comfortable and he thinks that he can explain better at the interview with a bank statement, then he can ask the school to now tell them that this is the new sponsorship he wants to use. So maybe an uncle is now sponsoring him, so they should change or modify the I-20 funding section for him.
And how does he change that in the visa application portal now?
The DS-160 asks for entity paying for the trip. It doesn't ask for sponsor. So it's the entity paying for the trip that was put in there, but the sponsor was not asked in the DS-160. However, even with the DS-160, now you need to submit it before you are able to schedule an interview date. So with that, you can still create a new DS-160, raise a ticket in the AVIT portal, and then the embassy will change it for you in there. So it's still possible to work around that. All right, Ben, let me know if you're ready to get us the University of the Week for UK. So start sharing your screen, and then I'll put you on, and we can take it from there. And you probably would have to unmute your microphone as well. Let's see if we can talk to Zachary Sadiq. Zachary Sadiq is trying to set the camera and everything. Hi, Zachary, salam alaikum. Hi, Sadiq.
Good evening.
Yeah. Let's go ahead with your question, sir.
Thank you very much. Please, I recently gained admission to about 3 universities in the US. And then 2 of them gave me a merit-based scholarship, $10,000. But then there's still a lot to cover up the tuition. So I want to find out if there are any recommendations for me to seek for external funding.
I think that Fred and I had answered that question in the past, and Fred has a video on his YouTube that you could use with different options to explore. So I think you should look at those videos and see what options are available to you and what you can explore. And one of them is loans. So, or getting an I-20 from a family member, or Empower. Yeah, so look at Fred's video and see which options you can explore.
All right.
Delali, can you hear me?
Okay.
I can hear you, but I think Fred is muted. Fred is muted.
I muted myself accidentally. So Isaac is asking, hello, I would like to do a school application, but I have little knowledge about the process. So let's see if we can give him a balance of all the countries. So let's start with Delali. If this individual has a bachelor's degree, and Isaac, let us know, do you have a bachelor's or a high school qualification? With a bachelor's degree, wanting to start to study in Canada, if we are talking to somebody who has no idea about the process, how will this person go about it?
Okay, so basically the person has to first of all settle on the province that he or she wants to go and study in, because we have about 13 provinces and territories here, and you can apply to all schools in all of these provinces. And some of the factors that you should consider when selecting the province is how is the living expenses there, the school, how much is the tuition fee, is there funding opportunity? Also, as an international student in Canada, you are allowed to work off campus 24 hours every week. When I go to a particular province or in this city, will I get a job to do to support myself, pay maybe my rent and some other expenses? So that is the first thing the person has to consider. So once you settle on the province, and one good thing about the Canadian government is that when you go to canada.ca, you can share the screen, canada.ca.
Okay, let me see if I can do that real quick.
I can share my screen because I'm using the laptop now.
Okay, good. So the Canada.ca website is what you have to look out for if you want to study in Canada. Let's see. So, yes, I think we can.
Can you see it now?
I'm trying to see if I can add. I can see your screen, but I'm finding it hard to add it to the platform. Okay, let's see. So yeah, you can go ahead now.
Okay, good. So when the person comes to canada.ca, you simply come to the menu and you come to immigration and citizenship. Then you come to study in Canada. So as you can see, study in Canada. So you click on the study in Canada, it brings you here. Then you scroll down, all the way down, and you look for what we call designated learning institutions in Canada. So you click on this. Then when you scroll down a little bit, you can see
So Delali, unfortunately, we have some noise at the background. If they could calm down a little bit for us, that would be helpful.
Okay.
Let's
Okay.
continue.
Okay, sure. So when you come to the portal this side, then you just look for DLIs. What is this? Become a DLI, enroll. Is reporting DLIs. Coming. Let me just go back. I think they've changed the portal a little bit.
Okay. So the unfortunate thing is that the noise, we can hear the noise more than you, Delali. So let's see if we can fix that then. So Ben can come in. Ben, we cannot see you on the video. Ben can come in, and then let's see if Delali could fix the sound at the background. All right. Ben, let's hear you if you can hear me. Hello, Ben. Okay, so Ben is frozen now. I see. All right, so we are moving on. If you have, Ben,
Fred, can you hear me?
we are struggling to hear you at the moment, but hopefully you're able to connect, and then we can take it from there. So, Kelly, let's go on with, if somebody is starting the whole process from as a fresher, having a bachelor's degree, they don't know anything about the US process. How do they go about it?
Okay. So there are 1,001 videos out there that you can look at. I do have one on my platform, Neskeli, on TikTok, where I spoke about the whole process from the beginning to the end. But here's what you need to do. Just like Delali said, you need to figure out first, like, what do you want to come and study here? What bachelor's do you have, and what does that make you be qualified for? So what do you want to come and study here? And that's the first one. Now, once you find out what you really want to come and study, is it a master's, is it a PhD, in what program? Once you find that out, then you find schools that provide that particular program. So one of the ways you can find a school, and I also have a video on my platform talking about how to find schools, but one of the ways you can find a school is to find one state that you want to live in, because we have over 50 states in the US, and you want to find a school or a state or two that you are interested in living in, so you can find schools in those states, because each state has different schools as well, and you can apply to all the 50 states. So find 2 states that you're interested in living in, and then you find schools in that state that provide the program that you're interested in applying to. Once you get to that stage, the next stage is to look at that program's website and see the admissions requirements, their faculty and staff, admissions coordinator, things like that, their funding page, because most schools have a funding page. So you want to see their funding page. And once you figure that out and you see that you have their requirements and you have all the things that they need to get you admitted into the school, the next step is to reach out to the program's director and find out, hey, I'm an international student, I'm interested in attending your school, here are my qualifications, do you have any funding options for international students? So you send all those emails to professors. They'll usually reach out to you and be like, hey, we do have funding, it's after you're admitted that you get it, or the funding comes with admission, things like that. So once you get to that stage, they give you a go ahead to apply. Now, some master's programs and PhD programs require that you have an advisor, like a PI, before you even put in an application. So when you look at the requirements, and another thing you can do is to attend information sessions, because some schools have open houses that they host a few days of the application season. So you want to look out for those things and you join them. That's where you get all the information about the admissions requirements, their important deadlines, their funding information, things like that. So it's a whole long process, but as I said earlier, I do have a video explaining more extensively on my platform on TikTok. So you may want to look at that for more information. But that's how the process goes. Find the school, look at the program you're looking to apply to, find the program director, reach out to them about funding. If they give you the go ahead, put in an application, and once you are admitted, then you go ahead with the visa process.
And what's the name of the TikTok account?
It's Neskeli.
Great. So go to TikTok. If you're watching us on TikTok right now, go and follow Neskeli on TikTok. She explains the entire process on step by step. Just take your time and follow the videos. If you are just tuning in, this is the Study Abroad podcast with a Fred Effect. We are trying to work with the little challenges we are still having with network issues and stuff like that. But yeah, we keep on going. So if you this is the first time we are streaming live on YouTube, is the Fred Effect. On Facebook is the Fred Effect. We came your way with University of the Week from Canada. Delali presented that, and now today we are responding to all your questions you have about the process. How are you able to join? You can just type your questions in the comment section. If you're watching us on YouTube, Facebook, we'll see them and then we'll read and respond to them. You can also request live and join us in the studio and then talk to us. What questions do you have? We'll be happy to respond to them as well. So now let's see if we can. Ben, let me know if your screen is set and you can start sharing, but I cannot see it now. So we go to James. Hi, James. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing well. I'm
okay. Unfortunately, James is doing well, but the network is not doing well. Okay, so let's talk to Stephen. Hi, Stephen. How are you doing?
Hi, Fred. Good evening, my time. I'm fine. I hope you're fine also.
Yeah, I'm okay. Go ahead with your question, sir.
All right. Thank you. So I currently have secured a spot for my visa interview.
Mm-hmm.
I actually want to know the best action to take. Okay. So 1, I've secured an Empower loan, and 2, I got a certain funding, a certain percentage of funding from the school. So the 2 things that I used to get I-20 were the funding from the school and then my personal bank statement, then the Empower loan. Okay. Now, the tricky thing is that.
Okay. The tricky thing is that your network is also being tricky. That's unfortunate. All right. Let's see if we can get another person on. Your network is being tricky, my brother. So let's see if we can get a stable connection and then we can take it from there. All right, let's see. We are responding to all your questions. Remember, if you need help, we with your study abroad process, you can send your resource, if it's a WASI resource, if it's the transcript from a bachelor's degree. If you have a diploma, there's also an opportunity for you. Send it to us via Instagram. The Fred Effect will be happy to respond to your questions over there as well. Ben is also having a challenge trying to join us. Delali, can you hear us now? Do you have a stable background?
Yeah.
Good. So whenever you're ready, you can proceed with that.
Yeah, so if you can go ahead and share the screen.
Yes, I'm sharing it now.
Okay, sure. So so the person just has to go to Google and type DLI Canada. So let me just do that again so that they can see DLI in Canada. So when you type it, this is what comes. So as you can see, designated learning institution list. So you click on that. Then you scroll down all the way down. So you see all post-secondary. So the DLI simply means that all schools in Canada, that is secondary, post-secondary, they've been harmonized under one link. And that is what the Canadian government has done. So when you need a school, you just have to go to DLI in Canada. And these are the provinces. So we have Alberta, British Columbia, Manitoba, New Brunswick, Newfoundland, and Labrador, Northwest Territories, Nova Scotia, Nunavut, Ontario, and the rest. And Nunavut is only the province that doesn't have a DLI. As you can see, you see that there are 0 entries when I selected Nunavut. But let me come to a place like British Columbia. So as we can all see, this is a table. So all the list of schools in the province of British Columbia can be found here. The DLI name, the DLI number, the city, the campus, and whether the institution is a public institution or a private institution. So all the way you can scroll down to next and you can see all the institutions we have in each of the provinces. Now, one important thing that our listeners should take note of is that they should always look out for schools that offer PGWP eligible programs, which simply means postgraduate work permit eligible programs. If not, after school, if your program is not postgraduate work permit eligible, you would have to pack bag and baggage and go back home because you can apply for a postgraduate work permit. So if you want institutions that offer a PGWP eligible programs, you just click here and you still select the provinces. For example, let me select a place like New Brunswick. So as you can see, DLI name, DLI number, city, eligible programs. So once you see yes attached to the name of any school here, you should simply know that that school has all its programs to be postgraduate work permit eligible. So for example, let's look at University of New Brunswick. You can see yes, both two campuses. You can look at St. Thomas University, New Brunswick Community College. So this is how to identify institutions in Canada that are postgraduate work permit eligible. Please, I am reiterating this. They shouldn't apply to schools that are not postgraduate work permit eligible. Because one good thing about Canada is that when you're done with school, when you study a 1-year master's, you get a 3-year postgraduate work permit. But when you study a 1-year diploma or any other program which is not a master's, but it's 1 year, you get a 1-year postgraduate work permit. But when you study a 2-year diploma, you get what? A 3-year postgraduate work permit after school. So once you settle on the school, your duty is now to type the name of the school on Google Chrome, go to the school's website, look at the program that you want to study, check out the requirements, and you create the account, put together a document, and put in the application. For research-based programs in Canada, that's graduate level, most of the schools will require you to secure a yes or an acceptance from a supervisor through sending of code emails before you go ahead and proceed. But there are some few schools that wouldn't require you to get a supervisor for thesis or research-based programs before you apply. So once you apply, you pay the application fee, and hardly do Canadian institutions give application fee waivers. They hardly give application fee waivers. So you have to prepare money and apply. Once you're admitted, when it comes with funding, you are going to know. When you have to apply for funding separately too, the department will let you know. Then once you have your admission letter, now you don't need a provincial attestation letter where you're coming for a master's program or a PhD program. You can simply go ahead, create your visa application account, and write your statement of purpose or letter of explanation, draft your proof of funds, get your bank statement, source of funds, all those things. You put them together, upload, and submit. With Canada, there is nothing like an in-person interview. Your visa process is virtually done online. So that is the little information I can share.
Yes, Dominic is asking, how does the Canada visa process go? And you will come in with that. But before that, Neskeli, you had a background in nursing. Then our sister, Mami Chris, maybe Christiana or Christine, is asking that, please, as someone graduating with BSc nursing this year, October, when do you suggest is best to start applying to schools in the USA for masters? And what opportunities can you explore as someone with BSc nursing going to USA for masters? This is really in your lane, Neskeli. Please go ahead.
Hey, Mami. So my first answer would be that if you are looking to get a master's in nursing in the US, then you need to write the NCLEX. The NCLEX is the licensing exams for the US. So before you can get a master's in nursing, you need your NCLEX. Now, I am not getting a master's in nursing, so I did not have to write the NCLEX. I'm getting my master's in social work, which does not require the NCLEX. But if it's a master's program in nursing, then you should be looking at routes to write NCLEX. Now, before you can write the NCLEX, you need your license in Ghana. So you need your Ghanaian nursing license. So you should have passed the nursing license after your bachelor's degree in Ghana, and then put in the application to a board of nursing here in the US, and they would give you the go ahead to test. And then once they give you that go ahead, then you can write the NCLEX. And once you pass, then they issue you a license. The board will issue you a license. Now, this board is different states have different requirements. So you need to look at the different nursing boards and look at their requirements. So that's the process for getting a master's in nursing. Now, if you're interested in something else, getting a master's in something else that's not nursing, then you don't need the NCLEX. So you just look at all the suggestions we've given so far about how the application process works, and then you follow that, and you should be able to apply to the program that you're interested in, which is not nursing. But once it's nursing, you need the NCLEX, if that makes any sense at all. Is Fred?
Yes. Let's go in with the next question that Dominic is asking, that how does the Canada visa process go?
Okay, so with the Canada visa process, you simply need to get an admission from one of the colleges or universities we have in Canada. Once you have your admission letter, if it's for the graduate level, you don't need a provincial attestation letter. But if it's for undergraduate, you need the provincial attestation letter. If it's for a graduate diploma, a postgraduate diploma, a graduate certificate, you also need an attestation letter. But for a master's and PhD, no attestation letter is required. So you simply go to canada.ca, the website I showed you. You just look for GCKey, you create an account. Once you create an account, you set up your portal. It can be done in like 10 or 15 minutes. Very simple process. They'll ask you some questions, you respond, and you set up your account. They'll ask you to upload your admission letter. They'll ask you to upload your family information form. They'll ask you to upload evidence of how you're going to pay your fees. That is the proof of funds. So you would have to explain. If you have funding, you attach the funding letter. And one thing about the proof of funds is that with Canada, they have a fixed amount for living expenses for all the provinces except Quebec. So in all provinces, the living expenses for 1 year is 22,895 Canadian dollars. It's fixed. It's not something that you can change. Then with these living expenses for 1 year, you now add your 1 year tuition fees to it and your flight ticket. So if, for example, your 1 year tuition is, let's say, 10,000, then your flight ticket is, let's say, 2,000. You put all together and you convert that amount to Ghana cedis. Once you convert that amount to Ghana cedis and you don't have funding, you would have to get a bank statement to cover the total cost that you have. And it's not only the bank statement, you also have to support it with documentations to prove the source of the money. Where is the money coming from? They want to know whether the money has been stolen, if it's from a business, if it's from unemployment. You need to add all those proof. Then also, we have another portion which we call the client information. That is where you draft what we call your statement of purpose. But this one is not for school application, but for visa application, or it's also called the letter of explanation. You'd have to introduce yourself. You talk about your academic background and your work experience. You talk about why you've settled on Canada instead of pursuing that same program in Ghana. You talk about what the program is going to do for you, the career options that are available. Then you touch on your home ties. What are the factors that are going to bring me back after I am done with my studies in Canada? You touch on them, you explain. Then whatever you've said in your letter of explanation or your proof of funds, you have to attach what? Documentations to back them. Then you compress everything into a single PDF file. You upload the proof of funds on the proof of funds column. You upload your letter of explanation and the letter of explanation column. And you only need 235 Canadian dollars for visa fees. There's nothing like service fee for Canada. There's nothing like MRV for Canada. The only money you need is 235 Canadian dollars. 150 for your biometrics. 150 for the study permit and 85 for your biometrics. So when you put the two together, 235. So basically, that is all. And if you want to submit a visa application as well, we call something medicals. With Canada, you have to do medicals. And there are only 2 institutions that are recognized in Ghana to do Canadian visa application medicals. That is IOM, International Organization of Migration or something like that, and Akai House. They are all in Accra. So when you get an agent who says, oh, go to Koforidua Government Hospital and go and do your medicals for your Canada visa, you should know that you are being defrauded. If you get somebody who says, oh, go to Ridge Hospital in Accra and go and do your medicals for the Canada visa process, you are being defrauded. There are only 2 institutions, that is IOM and Akai House, that are recognized and allowed for you to take your Canadian medicals. And before you submit your visa application, you can actually go and do your medicals. We call it upfront medicals, and it's valid for 12 months. That is 1 year. Or you can wait for your medical to be requested. And once your medical is requested, you go and do the medicals, you submit it, and you wait for a decision on your application. So basically, that is all. You don't need a physical interview. And when you go to my YouTube channel, the Delali Network, I actually have a practical video there which touches on how to set up your Canada visa application portal for the study permit, for visit visa, what documents to upload at each column, how to fill the form. So when you check out that video, I've explained everything there thoroughly. So you can check that out as well. Fred, I think basically that is a summary of how the visa application process goes.
This goes to Neskeli. So please, with the license pin, do you have to use the one you get after rotation, or you can also use the one you get after passing licensure? This is from Mami.
One you get after rotation.
You need to repeat that. You were muted initially.
Sorry, can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Yes, Mommy, is the one you get after rotation.
Okay. As someone graduating with a BA in education this September, when do you suggest is the best time to start applying to schools for master's degree? Additionally, what opportunities can you explore as someone with a BA in education pursuing master's? Kelly, do you want to start? Then Delali will come in.
Yeah. So if you are finishing in September, honestly, you can start looking right now. And I've been telling people that the application process itself is just like 30 to 45 minutes. It's putting together the documents. So while you are in school right now, one of the biggest documents that people have issues with is recommendations. Once you're still in school, make sure that your professors know you. Make sure that you're that student that they can remember. In class, answer questions. If they need someone to help them out with volunteering, things like that, so that you can build a good, not just resume, but also reputation when it's time to get recommendations. And this is also the time to start building your resume. So start now. That the application itself is not as tedious. The process of getting the requirements is what is tedious. So start building your resume, start building networks that can give you a recommendation right now. But you can also start looking at schools. Some schools you can apply once you're finishing in September. The application portals open by September, so that's a good time. For the fall of 2027, at least for my school, the application portal will open in September, and early decision deadlines are around November. But you can also apply by January 15th if you're looking to get scholarships and things like that. So from this time onwards, start building your resume, start building networks that can give you recommendations. And then the application portal opens in September. You can put in your application, start writing your statement of purpose, start looking at master's degrees that you want to pursue. You have a BA in education, you're eligible for a wide range of master's degrees. So what are you actually interested in? Is it special education? Is it higher education? Is it just a bunch of different things? You can do social work. There's endless for an education degree. So look at what you're really interested in doing and make a choice of what masters you want to concentrate on. But apart from that, build your resume right now and build networks that can give you recommendations once you're ready to put in an application.
Delali, is that an opportunity for somebody like that in Canada?
Yeah, there are a lot of opportunities for people who have an education background in Canada. You can come here and come and take your master's in education. You can take a master's in disability studies. You can take a master's in early childhood. You can take a master's in special education. And one good thing about Canada is that with education background and you having a license back home as a teacher, you can easily integrate into the Canadian system and get your teacher's license in any of these provinces and work as a teacher after school, which pays very well. Even whilst in school, you can still work as what we call a substitute teacher, because there are a lot of teacher shortages in several provinces in Canada here, and they are looking out for these internationally trained teachers who have a background in education. So if you want to consider any country as well, I'll also advise that you include Canada. And also when you look at my school, for example, University of Manitoba, the Masters in Education, they have funding. So you can check it out and apply. And also there's one program, Masters in Indigenous Education. Masters in Indigenous Education is hugely funded in Canada. So you can check that program out and the schools and apply to some of the schools that have this masters in indigenous education. But you won't regret it when you come here as a teacher already in Ghana, because you can easily integrate into the system here. And the pay is actually good as well.
But let's hear your thoughts on this. If somebody has a bachelor's of education from Ghana, you have to unmute your microphone. Your microphone is muted. So if somebody has a bachelor's degree in education from Ghana, what are the options in the UK for such an individual?
Yeah, the person is likely to have a lot of opportunities when it comes to the course that you're supposed to study. I think the UK admission system is also the same like the US education system, that if provided you have the interest and you are able to prove to them that this is what you want to read and you are capable, there's a system that can allow you to read whatever you want to read. So in the education, if the person wants to toe the line of education and maybe he or she is willing to become a teacher, then I would recommend that he tries reading around the PGCE, which is the post certificate in education. So it's like a 1-year food training. That is if the person is able to come to the UK. It's a type of a professional course that if you're able to do, it gives you the license for you to be able to teach in the UK schools. So if the person is aiming to become a teacher, then you can come to the UK, target the PGCE course, and he's going to be successful, because by the time you finish, you get your license to teach and you have the freedom to move from schools to schools. And what will happen is that you would also be able to get a visa to stay in the country, so you wouldn't go through a lot of stress. So as for the UK, sometimes your prior education background doesn't really matter. It's able to show your interest, convince in the statement of purpose that you are capable of reading this program, your chances are very, very high. So I think that's what I can say about that.
Okay, so we there's another question here. Delali, if you could come in with this. My question is that I have a graduate assistantship covering my tuition. Okay, I think there was an earlier question. Hopefully I'll get that, then I'll be able to respond to. Atta or say, you started your question earlier. I wanted to see if I can get that, and I'll respond to your question. Okay, let's see. Helen is asking, as someone who has graduated with BSc Information Technology with foundation in data analytics, what are some of the institutions I can apply to in Canada and then the US, and then let's see if we can get a UK to, and where do I start from? So you, Delali, you've explained how the person should start, but do you know any institutions that somebody with BSc Information Technology, can apply to in Canada?
Yeah, the person can check out University of Prince Edward Island. The person can also check out Memorial University. The person can check out University of Saskatchewan. Then the person can check out University of Toronto. Then University of Manitoba, University of Alberta, University of Winnipeg. Yeah, these are a few universities that the person can check out.
All right, so that's it. In the UK, Ben, if somebody has BSc Information Technology, where should the person start from in the whole application?
Okay, maybe it all depends. The BSc Information Technology is too broad. And in the UK, they try to give some specifics based on what you want to. So I know that in the UK, most of the guys who are coming with IT background are shifting into cybersecurity for their masters. So I don't really know an aspect of information technology that the person really wants to take. I know some guys too who are into data analysis, computer programming, and that kind of stuff. So if the person has a specification, then I think that coming to the UK would be one of the good place the person can think of, because with the ICT background, sometimes when you complete, you see, when you are making decision with the UK, you have to look at your employability when you complete, because usually the master program is 1 year. So if you're able to think around that, then you know that after 1 year, you are into employment. And that is the reason why we still have people applying to the UK universities, even though people think that it's very expensive country, because it's 1 year. So you can target a cybersecurity program or computer programming or data analyst with your BSc information background. Within 1 year, you are done with your master's. Then after the 1 year, you can apply for the postgraduate route visa, which in 2027 is going to be 18 months. It used to be 24 months. Then through that, if you're able to understand the system and build a strong ties with some of the IT organizations, possibility of you getting certificate of sponsorship from them is very high. Then what it means is that you never have issues with visa. So you can, schools like Nottingham Trent University, I know they have a lot of good computer related or ICT related programs. And then Leeds University too, they also have good ICT programs. Then I think Manchester and Liverpool. So these are the 4 schools that if the person is able to target, he can get a very good computer related or information related program to read in the UK. And is that with such a background, the possibility of getting employed after your graduation is very, very high compared to someone who came to study anything related to the social sciences.
Okay, so let's see if Modi can hear us. Modi, can you hear us now? Hi, Steven.
Hi. Yes, please. I can hear you.
Go ahead with your question. We can hear you.
Thank you. Okay. So my question was, one, how to navigate, especially looking at my funding.
Stephen, we're still having challenges hearing you. If you could fix that. So Neskeli, Ella is asking, is it Ella? Sorry. Okay. Ella is asking that if you have, let's see, if you want to apply to public health, do you need the NCLEX? And also, what does it entail if you have a nursing background, you want to apply to Masters in Social Work?
So for public health, you don't need NCLEX, but you need to apply through SOFAS. So that's something I would want you to do a little research on, so you can understand what SOFAS is, how that application portal works. Social work is a different aspect of like humanitarian job, just like nursing, but social work is more to the social aspects of the person's health instead of like their physical aspects. But there are different things that you can do with a social work degree. Anywhere you can. In Ghana, I understand that social work is not a big deal, but here in the US, social work is a big deal. Anywhere you can find any institution, schools, hospitals, you can find social workers there. So that's basically what social work is. But I don't know if you're looking to find the process of applying to a social work degree with a nursing background. Just like every other program, master's program that you apply to, the process is the same with social work as well. You don't need NCLEX, but I mean, with your bachelor's degree, so your bachelor's in nursing degree, you can apply and get into a master's of social work program. Different schools have different requirements. So look at what school you're looking to apply to, and then look at their requirements and see what they're looking for. But once you have a bachelor's, anybody pretty much can enter into a social work master's program. I hope that answers your question.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Ms. Kelly. So somebody's asking, about, planning to doing masters in Canada, and there are issues. So we'll come to that question. But before that, somebody wanted Ben to explain the UK application process. So Ben, take us through, if you have a high school qualification, if you hold a WASSCE results versus holding a bachelor's degree, the person do not know how to start the entire process. How does this individual begin? Let's start first with a high school qualification, and you have to unmute your microphone because it's muted. With a high school qualification, where do you start from if you want to study in the UK?
Okay, so with a high school qualification, I think you have to apply through UCAS. So the UCAS is, I think, Universities and Colleges Admission Services. So that's the full meaning, Universities and Colleges Admission Services. So you apply through UCAS, and with the UCAS, I think you can apply up to 5 universities with your WASSCE certificate or with your WASSCE result. So you can apply at up to 5 universities. So how the process works. When you submit your document, the UCAS now works as an agency that will then now look at your qualification and then see the 5 schools that you selected, the ones that you can get admission. You can even get admission from all the 5 universities, and then you can now decide which of them that you want to go, maybe based on the school fees or the scholarship that you are likely to get. So basically that is also with the WASSCE application to do your bachelor's or to go to the college or to go to the college in the UK, you can use the UCAS, which is the intermediary. But you will pay. I don't know the current charge at the moment, but you pay before they start the process for you. So what it means is that if you want to come and do your bachelor's, you have to be sure that you meet the requirement before you contact UCAS, because if your results or you don't meet the requirement and you think UCAS can do magic for you, I'm sorry, maybe it might not work that way for you. So if you check the requirement of the schools and you think you are good to go, then you now contact UCAS. Then they will now work with the universities, make sure that you get your admissions sorted. So that is that with that. But I think one school, the last time I mentioned it, Derby University, is such that I think it is one of the few universities in the UK that you can apply straight to them with your WASSCE results without contacting the UCAS. So Derby is an exception. So if you are listening to me with your bachelor's and with your WASSCE results, you can try Derby University on your own, and the application too is free. And if you meet the requirement, the possibility of you getting admission is very high. And then with regards to the those who wants to come and then do your masters, I think so far, having been privileged to look at Canada admission process and then US admission process, I would say UK probably might be the easiest. And almost all the schools I've come across with, they have agents in the school that the moment you want to start the application, the system will, okay, if you are from Africa, these are the agents that you can contact. And most of them, about 90% of the agents provide their service for free, because most of them are being hired by the university, and the universities pay them. So no need for you to pay any extra money for them. So you contact them, and then they will guide you through the basic things that you need, and your application will be successful. But basically in the UK, I think these documents are what you need to really have in mind, especially if you want to apply for your master's. your CV, your results, WESI results, as well as your bachelor's results. The reason why they look at your WESI result is that sometimes they want to confirm your English proficiency. So the rule is that if you are using the WESI, you must get a minimum of C6 in your WESI result. That shows that you have English proficiency. And in doing so, they will also want you to add results checker. So what it means is that when you send your WESI results, you attach result checker so that they will also confirm to see that whatever you send to them reflects the reality. So here, there is nothing you can do to trick. So you have to prepare for that. You get your checker, you send them your WESI result, you get your CV, and then some of them, you have to submit a separate a statement of purpose, but some of the application portal too, they'll ask you maybe about 4 questions or 3 questions, and if you're able to answer, it is assumed that you have submitted your statement of purpose. And then you have to at least get 1 letter of recommendation. Unlike US, that they send the link to the recommenders for them to do for you. With the masters, especially with the postgraduate thought, what happens is that you have to upload the letter of recommendation. But sometimes most of the universities even accept it after you have been given admission. And within 2 weeks or maximum 4 weeks, you should hear from them. So if by 4 weeks or 5 weeks you've not heard the admission decision, then it means that maybe probably you are not successful. So within, even some schools can even give you decision within 4 days of application. Okay. So the only thing is, yes, you have to check the deadline to make sure that you are within the deadline and everything is going to be fine.
All right, thank you, Ben. This is for Delali. I'm planning of doing my master's in Canada, McMaster University. I have heard a lot about negative comments, housing, scarce jobs, etc. So I want to ask Dela if it's worth it's coming to study in Canada. This is Zacchaeus. Is this Zacchaeus in the Bible, or this is low budget Zacchaeus? Anyway, go ahead, Delali.
Okay, so Zacchaeus, this is a very good question that you've asked. I wouldn't say no, some of these things are not happening. You are very right. Some of these things are happening. But the truth is, the location or the province which you decide to study in can either make or unmake you when you come to this country. For example, when you check the provinces in Canada, the school you're mentioning, McMaster, is located in one of the provinces that is very crowded. That is Ontario, if I am right, Ontario. So if I were you, I wouldn't go for a school in that province unless the school is funding me fully. But if I'm going to pay out of pocket, there is no way I'm going to choose an institution in that province. Why? Because as you rightly said, because of a lot of the influx of international students and foreign temporary foreign workers, housing cost is very high there. Living expenses is high. And some of the schools too, the fees are very, very expensive. So if it's not a full funding, I advise that look at other schools in different provinces. So a province like Newfoundland and Labrador, a place like Prince Edward Island, a place like Nova Scotia, a place like Manitoba, a place like Alberta, a place like Saskatchewan are places that I would recommend for you. But if McMaster is giving you a full funding, you can go in for it. But if you are paying out of pocket, please avoid schools in Ontario and look at schools in other provinces, because the location that you are going to choose after school would have an impact and will tell whether you'll be able to proceed to the next stage, which is securing your permanent residency or going back home when your work permit expires. So that's the little I have to say about that.
Awesome. This question is for Neskeli. So Neskeli, somebody says that I've applied for an assistantship and then I already have 25%. So can I apply for resident assistantship if I already have a teaching assistantship at a university in Massachusetts with 25% scholarship? So Richard, can you let us know how many hours you'll be working for this assistantship? But if you have maybe 10 hours or 15 hours, is it possible to apply for another assistantship, Neskeli?
Yes, because you can work 20 hours a week. So if you have like a partial assistantship, which means that you'll be working for 10 hours a week, then you are eligible to apply for another assistantship that can give you like 20 hours a week. Now, the thing is, I can see that you said you have a 25% merit scholarship. Some schools, once you have a scholarship, like you have to forfeit one. You can't do the assistantship and do the scholarship. So make sure you're asking the right questions and making sure that you're on the good path when it comes to like applying to assistantship and then having a merit-based scholarship.
Okay, so if you are just tuning in, we have been answering questions from people who intend to study abroad. This is the biggest study abroad content platform. The name is The Fred Effect. For close to a decade now, the team has been supporting individuals who want to better their life, who want to pursue a higher education abroad. If you want to study in the UK, Canada, US, we got you. So we every week we come your way with what we call a Study Abroad podcast. The reason is simple. People are there are a lot of people studying in the countries and the universities as well as enjoying the scholarship you want to apply to. What we do is simple. We invite such individuals on the platform so that they share their experience, their journey, how they were able to apply, how did they even get the scholarship, how much they spend on this entire process, how long did it take them, so that you who want to study abroad can easily learn from their experiences, their mistakes they made, and what you can do better. So at the end of every month, we come your way with a Q&A session. We have the answers, you have the questions. So you ask us the questions, we'll be happy to provide the best responses to the best of our knowledge. So we are not claiming to be experts in this field, but because we've had opportunity to go through the process, we feel like we have, some ideas and information to share with you as well. It's easy to get in touch with the Fred Effect team. Remember, you can send us a message directly on Instagram. Our Instagram account is verified. Within 24 hours, the team will respond to you. If you need help paying your service fee, talk to the Fred Effect team on Instagram. If you need help paying your visa application fee, same way. And, if you're going for a visa interview, remember that the Fred Effect team has a collaboration with Argo Visa. Argo Visa is a team of ex-visa officers. So if you're planning to go for any visa interview, remember to schedule a one-on-one session with them, whether it is an immigrant or a non-immigrant visa. They are going to go through your DS-260, your DS-160, have a one-on-one mock session with you. These are individuals who used to work at the embassy. They were approving, denying people's visas. They have the experience. They can think through what the visa officer would be asking, as well as how they deny visas and all that. So you're using the link I'm showing on the screen, which is rb.gy/KU72VB to schedule. Just type that in your web browser, and then you open and then you schedule a meeting. This is a way of also supporting the Fred Effect team. If you want to apply for a master's degree, a bachelor's degree, the Fred Effect team handles undergraduate applications for free. So what you have to simply do is to schedule a one-on-one meeting with the Fred Effect team, and we'll be happy to assist you with your applications when it comes to bachelor's degree. But for masters, let's schedule a one-on-one clarity session, explain to you how the entire process is going to work, and we'll see how we can support you as well. It's been a great session. Ben is in the UK, Kelly is in the US, Neskeli is in the US, and Delali is in Canada. So we've all been through the process. We are trying to explain to you how things are being done. Let's go ahead and respond to more of your questions as well. Remember, you can also request to join us live, and then we'll be happy to talk to you. Shalom, your video is not on and your microphone is muted. Can you unmute your microphone? Let's see if you have a question. Hi, Shalom.
Yes, hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. We can hear you. Go ahead, Shalom.
Yes, good evening. I have a bachelor's in computer science, and also I'm rounding up with a master's in digital transformation. So I'm looking to applying for PhD in computer science, focusing on machine learning. So I want to ask, like, what are my options basically, and what should I be looking out for?
And which country are you targeting, my brother?
Canada.
Okay, Delali, please go ahead.
Okay, so first of all, you have to try and look out for the school that you have. Have you identified a particular school? Shalom.
Yes, University of Saskatchewan.
Okay, that's a very good province, and I know they have a PhD in these computer programs. But then PhD is highly research, and you need to secure the acceptance of a supervisor or professor before you put in your application. So you should have a very strong resume drafted, which your research interest aligns with what the professor is doing or that of the department. Your focus should be on what they are also doing. Send them good cold emails, attach your resume and your transcripts for your master's and your undergraduate. Let them know you are interested in working with them. This is your background, this is your work experience, this is what you are bringing on board, and you want to apply into the program. If they give you a green light, yes, you go ahead, check the deadlines, put in your application, very strong one, and wait for a positive response.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us. So we'll be wrapping up very soon. It's been a great session, almost 2 hours of doing this. So we'll be wrapping up very soon. So let's take final words from everyone and we will wrap up. Let's start with Ben. Ben, any final words for people who tune in today? We've been having a lot of technical issues, but I'm glad we've been able to get it through. What is your final words for anyone who tuned in today? Your microphone is muted.
Yeah, thank you for the opportunity. Let me use that to explain this to Obodai. I thought Obodai has traveled though, because there was a time the questions he was asking, I thought he has left the country. Very well. So he wants to know more about the PGC program that leads to getting certified after the program, which also allows one to teach in the UK. So I'm sharing the website in the chat box. Yes, so I've sent the link of the website to the chat box. So it's very simple. You have to apply to you have to just a minute.
All right. Let's see. Whilst Ben tried to fix that, Kelly, let's get your final words to anybody who was able to tune in today.
Hey, thank you for tuning in. And as I always tell people, don't give up. Don't give up. You do have the requirements. If you have a bachelor's degree, you have an equal chance to get admitted into a school and travel. I tell people that it does something to your brain. Traveling, leaving your whole country and figuring out your life in a whole new space where you don't know anybody. You are trying to network all over again. It really does something to your brain. It shapes your thoughts in ways that it changes your perspective in ways that you would have never thought if you were like in your comfort zone in your country. So I definitely encourage people to apply to schools, come to school, learn, and be motivated to do these things. It's worth it.
Right. I keep on telling people if it was easy, everybody would have done it. And it's not easy, but it's definitely worth it. And Kelly said it does something to your brain. Not only your brain, like I think it changes your. But when you take a picture outside here, I think it looks different. Like this, using the same phone to take a picture. Anyway, that's just by the way. Delali, any final words to anybody who tuned in today?
Yeah, Fred. To your listeners and followers, I would like to thank them for joining. And I would advise that they shouldn't only look at the school route. There are other ways to move to Canada as a permanent resident. You don't have to come and struggle and pay fees if you don't have funding. For example, if you are in the field of healthcare, and social services. You are in the trades occupation, education occupations, and you have like you're a teacher, a nurse. Good. So these are what we call category-based draws. So if someone can speak and write French fluently, the person will just go to Alliance Française, register, take the French exams, and the 4 levels you have to get 7 each or above. Then the person should also have some work experience, which they need because they are looking to attract skilled workers. If you are working as a nurse, a doctor, if you are a teacher, a disability education instructor, if you work in the transport occupations. So all these categories you have seen listed here, people actually can apply from outside Canada. You don't need Canadian work experience for most of this category, in exception of the only few that are saying that Canadian work experience, Canadian work experience. So aside the school route, our advisor, people should check out this category based for express entry as well, so that they can use some of this route to get in here and come directly as a PR instead of coming through the school route, because it's really a struggle when you come here as a student, especially when you're not fully funded. So that is my little message for your listeners out there.
Delali is in Canada. Delali, talk to us about your social media platforms. Kelly, you talk up to us about that. What social media platform can people follow you on? If somebody wants to send you a message, how do they go about it? Hi, Delali, go ahead.
Okay, so I'm currently having a YouTube channel that is the Delali Network, where I share content on Canada and US. I am also on TikTok, on Facebook, and on X as well. So if you want to reach out to me, any of these 4 platforms that I've mentioned, just send a direct message. I'll respond, and whatever assistance you need, I'll try my best to provide that assistance.
Kelly, what are your social media platforms? How do people connect with you?
The only social media I post content about grad school on is TikTok. It's called Neskeli. Neskeli, I think you add 8 to it, but if you type Neskeli, you should have that. I do have an Instagram called Helen Kekeli, but I only post my pictures. So if you're interested in looking at my face, you can follow me there too.
Great. Rema says, Kelly, I like your vibe. All right, so that's to Rema for tuning in. So Ben, let's continue with your final words to anyone who.
Yeah. So yes, thank you once again. So I was trying to say that with a PGCE program, what you can do is that you have to apply through the UK Department of Education. So this one is different from the usual applications we apply to the university. So this one, you have to contact UK Department of Education. So if you are listening to me and you are interested in the PGCE program, that is the first step. And I've shared the website in the chat box so you can look at it and then apply. But if you are not done with your bachelor's, please don't think of that, because it's for those who are done with their bachelor's. That's the first initial qualification that you must have before you can apply for the PGCE program. And then they look at 3 core subjects: English, Maths, Science. English, Maths, Science. So once again, if you're in the senior high school and maybe you want to become teacher in the UK, never play with your science, maths, and English. You can play with the English because if you fail, you can write either IELTS, and if you're able to get 6.5, it can substitute your WESI English scores. But you can't get a replacement for integrated science, and you can't get replacement for mathematics. So try and then take your maths, English, science very serious. And if you have that one solid and you are done with your bachelor's, you can apply through the UK Department of Education. And one thing that you need to take note is that it's not free. I think the minimum fees for international students is around 9,500 for a year. And of course, it's a 1-year program, so no need to worry. So whether you are in the UK or whether you are outside the UK and you are interested in teaching, you can consider the PGCE program through the UK Department of Education, and you can become a teacher as you wish. So thank you very much for tuning in with us. God willing, next week you shall come with your way with another fantastic episode.
Okay. So let's see. Ben, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Awesome. All right. So it's been a great session. Thank you for tuning in, and thanks to Delali, thanks to Neskeli, and thanks to Ben who joined us from the UK as well. Next week we'll be coming your way with another insightful section. We'll have a guest on whom we are going to interview. But we have different segments of the program. So we'll have the free application universities that will share with you the universities you can target in the UK, which will be the University of the Week from the UK, University of the Week from Canada, and then we'll look at University of the Week from the US. If you have other segments you want us to introduce on the channel too, you can on the program you can let us know. We are trying to, as much as possible, make it lively, and also we'll be responding to your questions. If you have questions, we'll be answering to them in the comment section. Remember that every week, if you join, if you like, if you share, if you comment, automatically you join a draw, and we'll select you at the end of the session so that the team will mentor you for free. We are doing our best to give back, and we know that this is making a huge impact in a small way that we can. Thank you for making the Fred Effect team the biggest study abroad content platform. Remember, the family members are about 160,000 on Facebook. On YouTube, we are close to 180,000. On Instagram, it's about 30,000. So if you're interacting with any account that is claiming to be the Fred Effect, please be careful. We don't respond. We don't have emails and stuff like that. The only way you can reach us is to send us a direct message on Instagram. We'll be happy to respond to that. And also remember, this study abroad process comes with some payment. So sometimes you are supposed to pay an enrollment deposit, you are supposed to pay a visa application, a tuition deposit, and stuff like that. The Fred Effect team can assist you to make some of these payments. All you need to do is to send us a direct message on Instagram, and I will be happy to assist you with facilitating or making these payments on your behalf. The name has been the Fred Effect. This is the biggest study abroad content platform. Thank you for tuning in, and please be positive. Everything will be fine. See you next week.